Hello everyone, welcome out here on MustangsTV.com. I'm Lee Haygood. Got a special guest with us this afternoon, and that special guest is Miss Kathryn Cushman, author of 8 books. And I don't know how anyone could sit and think of things to write 8 books. Kathryn, you actually go by Katie. Just tell us a little bit about being in Lawrence County, as MustangsTV.com is. Tell us a little bit about your roots in Lawrence County.
All right. I grew up in Lawrenceburg. My grandparents, aunts, uncles, everybody's always lived in Lawrenceburg. Went to Lawrence County High School. Go Wildcats. Sorry.
Go Wildcats and Mustangs.
And Mustangs.
I'm both of them. I'm a Wildcat, but now a Mustang.
And then I went to college in Sanford in Alabama and kind of left Lawrenceburg after that. But yeah, this is home. Still home.
Still home, and that's good. Lawrence County has several people that's made it in big out in the world, and you being one of them. And as always, we are always glad to have people come back to their home roots. You have a website, KathrynCushman.com, and on your website you have a bio. How can in your bio on your website, you're a full-time wife, you're a full-time mother. How can someone like that find the time to write books?
Well, it's easier now that my kids are older. My youngest one is 17 now, so she can drive herself around, so I have a lot of time at home. That makes it a lot easier. But when the kids were small, I got my best writing done at the soccer fields, because you always have to be at their games like an hour before they play. So it's like you're sitting there for an hour twiddling your thumbs. So if you have something with you to type, that's where you can get a lot of work done then. So I just kind of learned to do it in bits and pieces as they were growing up, and then now I've got chunks of available time. It's actually harder for me to sit down and focus. So
talking about that, do you just write talking about being a soccer mom, do you write at soccer games? Do you think, do some of your thoughts come at that time?
Yeah, usually the best thoughts come when I'm in the middle of something else. So I try to find something to write on or type myself a text or something so I'll remember when I get home what I was going to do. And then I'll look at later and think, what does this mean? He's going to die, So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
And some of your books, actually all your books, being a fictional writer, you've always got things that's coming up in that. But now that we're talking about you being a fictional author, who and or what inspired you to become an author?
It was one of those things that was always on my I'm going to do this someday list. Someday I'm going to write a book, but we all have those some days. I'm going to run a 5K, yeah. Someday I'm going to lose 10 pounds, yeah. And it just kind of was something that I thought I really wanted to do at some point in my life. And my husband's uncle was diagnosed with cancer when he was quite young. He was in his 50s. And it really got me thinking, I guess I was in my 30s at the time, is if I got a diagnosis like that, what would really bother me? And of course, when you have kids, what would bother you is you don't want to leave your kids. Right. But the other thing that kept coming to mind is I don't want to have never tried the one thing I've wanted to do all my life. So, fail or succeed, I want to at least know I gave it a shot. So that's sort of when I got serious about it. My younger daughter was about to start kindergarten at that time, so it kind of made good timing.
Well, and you're out in California at that time as well. So, yes. Seeing the beach and everything, I'm sure it made you going through your mind a lot of things.
Yeah.
Talking about authors, who is your favorite author? And why is he or she your favorite?
I really don't have a favorite. I kind of just read whatever hits me at the moment. So I'll have a favorite book, but there's not like one author whose book I know I'm going to pick up and read. John Grisham I like, but I don't like all of his books. I like Jodi Picoult, but I don't like all of her books. So just depends on my mood.
What about Nicholas Sparks? I just want to throw that one out. My wife loves Nicholas Sparks books. And believe it or not, you say they're girlish books, whatever. I actually enjoy some of his books. A
couple of his books are a couple of my favorite books, but then most of them I'm kind of, they're a little mushy for me.
They are. I've got to agree 100% with that. But some
Walk
of them are
to Remember,
good.
Though, is like one of my all-time favorite books. So.
And you always know, in his books, the thing about it is you always know that something bad is going to happen to one of the main characters at the end.
Yes.
So you pretty much got that.
Somebody's dying.
Exactly. Out of all the books, what would be your favorite book?
That I've written or that I've read?
That you have written.
Hard to say, because after I after I finish a book, I can't look at it again. So like when it comes out in print, I don't open it because I see stuff I want to change. A couple of books ago, though, I wrote Chasing Hope, which actually touched a lot on an illness my daughter deals with and dealt with, and she was very severely ill for a long time. And so my character goes through some of what she went through, and so there's a lot of that book that's me. And so that one's probably emotionally my favorite book, but as far as storylines go, I don't know because I can't go back and look at them.
You just don't want to look at them, is what it is.
No.
And well, I can't. We don't want to like to think. We don't want to critique ourselves anyway. So that's one of those things. You mentioned on your website that you have 2 of your writings just pretty much hidden away before you actually had a book published. Why have you not ever had those books published, or why do you have them hidden away?
Well, they were written, those are the first 2 that I wrote,
Right.
and I submitted them to a few people, and they got rejected really quickly, and so they weren't ready to be published. Now, knowing more, I could probably go back and fix them, but it's kind of like, again, I really don't want to pick up and see what I wrote 15 years ago because it wasn't pretty, and it's a different genre than I write in now as well, so they stay back there with the dust bunnies.
Great word, though, by the way, the dust bunnies. I've read that on your website. And again, that is CathrynCushman.com if anyone would like to go check it out. And I urge you to do that. Pretty good website. Set up very well is
Thank you.
also. Talking about fictional writing, you being from Lawrence County, is anywhere in Lawrence County, or is Lawrence County kind of the fictional part of any of your stories?
More than half of my books are set in Shoal Creek, which is actually a fictional Lawrenceburg. And the reason it's fictional is I was told very early on that if you take a big city, you can move blocks around, you can change the names of things, and it's fine. But if you take a small town and you change where something is, or you change the name of a business, people get mad. And so Shoal Creek is Lawrenceburg. However, I do have my characters occasionally going from Shoal Creek to Lawrenceburg to do, and when I do that, they go to Crockett Theater.
Oh, wow.
And actually, in the book that just came out, they go to the Mashburn store in 5 Points.
Oh,
So if it's a real city named in this area, it's a real place they're going to. So.
Well, and that's neat. Glad you're actually, and which kind of brings into my next question. We know you're a Southern lady at heart. And now that you're living way out in California, in Santa Barbara, California, which is just a little on the other side of Waynesboro for people that don't know, what is it that you miss most about your Southern roots, or the state of Tennessee, or the South in general?
There's 2 kind of main areas that I really miss. And one is just the friendliness of the people driving down the road and doing the 1 or 2 or 3 finger wave, and going up to the clerk at the store and before you hand them a purchase saying, "Did you like the game last night?" You don't do that in California so much. And I also very much miss the food. Oh, the fried food, good food. It's all bean sprouts and healthy stuff in California. It's not nearly as tasty.
But they're a lot healthier out there.
They are a lot healthier out there.
But talking about that, Katie, getting back to kind of a family-oriented thing, your daughters, you have 2 teenage daughters. One, I think.
One's 17, one's 22 now. So she's
Okay,
not a
so
teenager
not quite a teenager now. Done grew out of that. But has either of them, you started out as a pharmacist, knew that you wanted to write books. Is either of your daughters wanting to follow in the same path as mom and become either an author or maybe something within the the books, the writing of books?
No, my older daughter hates to read even. So she'll walk into the room and my husband and younger daughter and I'll be reading. She'll be like, "I'm in a family of nerds." I mean, she just can't stand it. My younger daughter has never read my books and she's actually a pretty good writer, but she's just not interested in it. She's into Harry Potter though, so someday she will probably create her own fictional world, but that'll be an afterthought for her when she's in her 30s or 40s too, probably. But she has other interests now, so.
We are here with Kathryn Cushman. She likes to be called Katie Cushman, but writes under the name of Kathryn Cushman. A final question I have for you, and it's something that's not been rehearsed or anything, is when you're a writer and you're out in California and Santa Barbara, do you ever think about maybe a autobiography or anything other than just a fictional? Is it all fictional that you study and go over, or is it something that maybe you would want to write some other genre of books?
It's pure fiction for me. I like just being able to kind of go where my imagination is. I'm not interested at all in writing a how-to kind of book, and biographies, even that, it's just not my interest. They have to be written in a completely different way, so it's not really something that I'm kind of equipped to do. So no, not at all.
Are you working on a book right now?
Actually, it's due in about 48 hours. I've been
Oh,
sitting at
no.
my mom's house all weekend long, printing out pages, and she's sitting over there reading them and proofreading them. But yeah, it's got to be turned in 48 hours. So
Wow. So this is going to be 9?
that'll be
Number
9.
Well, again, MustangsTV.com here with Miss Katie Cushman. Writes under the name of Kathryn Cushman. You can check it out at KathrynCushman.com on the web. Go to her website, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great site, and you'll enjoy every bit of it. Get some books. Buy some books. Talking about technology, ebooks, is that something that helps authors? And this is just a personal question that maybe our viewers would like to see. Ebooks, is that something that's helping authors now, or is it actually hurting authors now?
I kind of have mixed feelings, because the nice thing about ebooks is when somebody buys an ebook, they buy it. Back in the days before ebooks, Barnes & Noble would say, okay, we're going to buy 5,000 copies of your book. And 3 months later, if they had 4,500 left, they sent them back to the publisher. And so you thought you were getting paid for 5,000, now all of a sudden you're getting paid for 500. And so you never had a clue how much money have I actually made. Whereas when somebody buys an ebook, okay, I made some money on that book.
Right.
So that's nice. However, the market has been flooded with people, self-publishing and stuff, and so it's hard to find books now from people that you want to read, or people that have actually, edited their work, as opposed to just throwing something out there. So it's just kind of gotten to be a big mishmash that I think they're trying to figure out how to cull it all. So it's making it an interesting challenge. But I personally, I read on a Kindle all the time, so I love Kindles.
So you're right there with the
Oh, I'm
ebooks.
one of those. Yep.
Well, Katie, we do appreciate you stopping by and joining us on MustangsTV.com. Best wishes to you.
Thank you.
Hope you sell millions of copies.
Me too.
And have all kinds of bestsellers.
Thank you.
Again, that's writes under the name of Miss Kathryn Cushman, Katie Cushman. We appreciate her joining us. We appreciate you joining us here on MustangsTV.com.